Take an opening prayer now. Chief Imam of the. Oh, sorry. Let's go and take the collect anthem. We take an opening prayer now. Chief Imam of the UCH Mosque, Alhaji Lawal.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. All thanks and adoration are due to Allah for the opportunity given to us to witness this great occasion. We thank Him, we praise Him, and we glorify His holy name. God Almighty, as we are about to start this program, we commit ourselves unto your care. Also, grant Professor Olagundoye Jannatul Firdaus. Count him among the righteous servants of Allah that he will enter paradise on the day of resurrection. Professor Lagundoye, during his lifetime, happened to be one of the pillars of our mosque. God will testify to this, God Almighty. Increases him in reward and favor. Let us meet him in Jannatul Firdaus on the day of resurrection. And also to his family, starting from the wife and the children. May God Almighty Allah continue to be with you. May He guide and guiding you in all your endeavor. Also to all dignitaries present here today, may the mercy and blessing of Allah be upon all. Today shall not be the last program we are to witness on heart. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين 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 سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين صلوا على النبي الكريم.
Thank you very much. So I'd like to welcome you again to this event. But I have to establish some protocols and recognize a few guests. The chairman of this occasion is the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, Professor Kayode Adebowale. He's ably represented here in his own capacity, the Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Professor P.O. Olapegba. Please. Okay. We're awaiting the arrival of the Chief Medical Director, Professor Jesse Otegbayo, CMD of UCH, who will be with us soon. Our special guest of honor is the wife of our celebrants, Mrs. Silifat Adejoke Lagundoye. I'd like to recognize the Provost of the College of Medicine, Professor T.O. Ogundiro. He's here with his Deputy Provost, Professor S.B. Olaleye. We also have, sorry, it's not here. It's not here. Yes. The Deputy Vice Chancellor Academics, Professor Juwon T. Arotiba. Sorry, this pillar is blocking. Representing the bossa, who is the deputy bossa, Mrs. Adesoya. We also have here the dean of the Faculty of Clinical Sciences, Professor Lawal. The dean of the Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences, Professor Oye,
What? Show screen this. It's Zoom in here.
Professor Yerunke Ojuola, please. He's also here. University librarian, Dr. Grace Ajuwon.
Oh, okay. No,
And then the financial
oh,
controller, Mr.
they don't
Ayoshinov of the College of Medicine.
or WhatsApp messages.
We are waiting the program. You'll have it soon as we get here. It's going to get here soon. We are waiting the arrival of the chairman, Medical Advisory Council of the University of Ibadan. We also have here the Deputy Registrar, Secretary to the College, Mr. A.E. Odedele.
I also like to welcome the deans of faculties and directors of institutes. You're very welcome. And the deputy CMAX of the University College Hospital, acting director of administration UCH. You're welcome, ma'am. The deputy CMAX. You're welcome. The director of finance and heads of departments in UI and UCH. You're very much welcome.
We also have here Vice Chancellor, Federal University of Health Sciences, Ilarogum, Professor Akim Lasisi. I want to give a special welcome to the family of our celebrants, family of Professor Lagundoye. Please, can you please rise for recognition if you're here? While we await other recognitions, I would like to call on the head of Department of Radiology, Professor Tinuke Agunloye, to give her opening address. Please, can we give her a round of applause?
Good morning. I would like to crave your indulgence so that we can save on time to allow me to stand or lean on the existing protocol that has been set. And I would also like to indulge all our speakers to please adopt the protocol so that we can save time today. There's so many activities going on in the university and the hospital. I hope that's accepted, Mr. Chairman, sir. Thank you very much. But I'll still recognize our chairman, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, and our special guest of honor, Mrs. Lagundoye. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting to chair this occasion. Today is the commissioning ceremony of the Professor S.B. Lagundoye Museum Library. Professor Lagundoye, who we all fondly call Baba or SBL, was unique in many ways. We all know the B in his name stands for Botsende. So that's very different from the popular Yoruba name Bosede that we are used to. Baba's name is Botsende. That's unique, and we're all familiar with that. This has been explained in his biography, The Son of Two Mothers, which I hope some of us will get a copy of, but there are also copies in this museum. Baba is also unique. He was a member of the first set of medical students who completed their entire training program in Ibadan, albeit for a University of London degree between 1955 to 1961. So it was after this that he then proceeded to Edinburgh to get his DMRD. Baba Lagundoye, or SBL, is the first indigenous professor and head of a department of radiology in sub-Saharan Africa. He was a foundation fellow of the Faculty of Radiology in the National Postgraduate Medical College and the West African College of Surgeons. Baba in our department is very special. He's the longest serving head of radiology of the College of Medicine and the University College Hospital. He served a total of 17 years as the head. 1 year in acting capacity. Thank you. and 16 years in full capacity. Baba is patient, is dedicated, is caring, is fair, is humble, is accessible. He was, I keep saying he is actually. He was, is available. He was easygoing. He was a teacher and a father and an advisor. I remember Baba was the one that taught me most of the things I know about investments, especially in stocks. Baba was loved by all staff of the department. And I remember him telling us as radiologists that to be successful, you need to see what you know and know what you see. Clinicians will understand this because when radiologists show you an image and say, "Can you see that?" They're like, "Where is it?" Baba tells you that you have to know what you're seeing, but you have to also see what you know. If you know what you're expecting, then you will see it. And that's how the Yoruba say something about Ogberi and Awo, so that's something like that. Interesting fact about SBL, he played table tennis and he was the vice chair of the Western State Tennis Association in his lifetime. He was an historical person. He loved culture and he was a member also of the Historical Society of Nigeria. Interesting fact, between 1975 and 1976, SBL was the president of the Nigerian Cardiac Society. That one surprised me. I'm like, what happened to all the cardiologists? But that's an interesting fact. And the one that we all know is that he's a well and widely traveled person. So this commissioning seems to be a natural progression for the personal radiology collection of Baba Lagundoye. He collected radiology textbooks, journals, reprints for over 30 years. And on his retirement, he willingly donated all to the department. Long before the internet and the existence of digital radiology, if you remember, Baba used to go around with his camera. We actually took pictures of radiology images on the camera and then would develop them and convert them to transparencies or slides. So Baba, you can say in Nigeria, was the originator of digital radiography. His collection has served as an unofficial resource for colleagues, for postgraduate scholars, and undergraduate students in radiology. Hence, I think that this project is just a natural culmination and a befitting memorial to a foundational figure in radiology in Nigeria and beyond. And you will hear this more from his biography. This SBM Lagundoye Museum Library is a project that transformed Baba's office space and the surroundings, which is popularly known to be at the end of this corridor in the X-ray department, into a welcoming space for learning and research. It will serve to remind us and those who visit that when you build institutions, you can actually transform nations. And when you invest in people, you can transform lives for good. And for these, we are remembering Baba SBL today. So therefore, on behalf of the members of staff of the Department of Radiology and of the many mentees and trainees of Baba, as well as the family who generously donated huge sums of money to this project, I warmly welcome you to this auspicious occasion of the commissioning ceremony of the Professor S.B. Lagundoye Museum Library today, Thursday, 8th January 2026. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'd like to recognize all heads of departments in UI and UCH. If you are present, thank you for coming. Retired professors who are also here. I'd like to recognize Professor and Chief Mrs. Ogumola. Thank you for coming. Professor Donald Unze, who is another powerful radiologist. Thank you very much for coming, sir. Dr. Akao, thank you for coming. Dr. Okubanjo, Professor Bumi Olakpade Olakwa, former provost of the College of Medicine. Thank you for also being present. I'd like to recognize Professor Mrs. Wuraola Shokumbi, Professor and Professor Mrs. Onadeko. Thank you for coming. Dr. and Mrs. Dupe Oreshegun, please. Thank you for also being present. Professor Asuzu, I think I saw you. Dr. Gani Adeniro, recognized. Professor Mrs. Falusi, I recognize you for coming as well. Mrs. Joko Aladekomo, the Deputy Registrar, thank you for also being present. And Mrs. Helen Ezema, Deputy Director of Radiology UCH. I also saw Professor Lai Shitu, Distinguished Professor of Urology, and also a consultant surgeon in the University College Hospital here in Ibadan. And I'd like to call on um, the Provost of the College of Medicine, Professor Lagundoye, for his welcome address.
The chairman of this occasion, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, Professor Kayode Adibowale, FAS MNI, who is ably represented today by Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Professor Peter Owolamakinde, all distinguished guests here present, the guest of honor, Mama Lagundoye, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Today, we gather not merely to commission a museum, but to consecrate a legacy, one inseparable from the history of radiology in Nigeria and West Africa. We honor Professor Sulaiman Botsende Lagundoye, a pioneer, a teacher, an institution builder, and the first Nigerian professor of radiology. The story of radiology in Nigeria began in 1953 at Adeoyo Hospital, Ibadan, under the leadership of Professor Alexander Brown, and matured with the establishment of the Department of Radiology at the University College Hospital in 1957. Yet, it was Professor Lagundoye who transformed radiology from a service into a discipline, and from a department into a school whose influence spreads across Nigeria and West Africa. Professor Lagundoye was not just a teacher of radiology, he was a teacher of teachers, and he played foundational role in establishing radiology training at both the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria and the West African College of Surgeons. He was a global ambassador for African radiology, and he served on the International Committee on Radiological Education and was a fellow of the Royal College of Radiologists, and held visiting professorships in Canada, the United States, Saudi Arabia, and Nigeria. Today, as we commission the SB Lagundoye Museum and Library, we affirm that the Department of Radiology, University College Hospital Ibadan, remains the mother department of radiology in Nigeria and West Africa. A status earned through people like Professor Lagundoye, whose life reminds us that institutions are built not by walls or machines, but by vision, discipline, and service. May this museum inspire future generations to remember where we began, to honor those who built the path, and to carry forward the enduring legacy and lessons of Professor Sulaiman Botsende Lagundoye. You are all most welcome.
Thank you very much. I'd like to call on the chairman of this occasion, Professor Kayode Adibowale, who is represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Professor Olapekpa, for your opening remarks. Can we clap louder, please?
I will want to heed the advice of the HOD that we skip protocols. But then I must recognize the presence of our living ancestors who are here today. Of course, Professor Ogumola, you are welcome, sir. And of course, I'm using as a point of contact to all our ancestors, the Onodekos and all of that. And of course, the former member of council, Dr. Ganadeno. Well, the provost is the host, so I want to recommend the provost so that he does not chase me out of his empire. And of course, Mama Silifat Lagundoye, you are recognized, ma'am. Distinguished guest members of the university community, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great privilege to join you in commissioning the SB Lagundoye Museum and Library. This project represents much more than a building or space. It embodies the values of scholarship, service, and leadership that define our institutions, the University of Ibadan and University College of Hospital, Ibadan. Today we celebrate the life and work of a man whose contributions have transformed medical education, radiology, and healthcare in Nigeria and beyond through teaching and mentorship. Professor Sulaiman Botsende Lagundoye's career offers a blueprint for academic and professional achievements. As Nigeria's first professor of radiology, he not only pioneered specialist radiology training, but also set academic standards through his candid, unassuming demeanor, which continues to guide generations of Nigerian radiologists. His influence extends beyond the hospital and classroom, shaping a culture of professionalism, mentorship, and service nationwide. By institutionalizing his legacy through this museum and library, we ensure that his remarkable achievements, principles, and values remain accessible to scholars, students, and professionals for decades to come. The university recognizes that institutions are custodians of knowledge and history. Preserving the legacy of Professor Lagundoye honors both an individual and the enduring principles of mentorship, lifelong learning, and service excellence that he embodied. This museum and library are more than a tribute. It is a center for reflection and inspiration that connects generations and reminds us that the pursuit of knowledge and professional excellence is continuous. I extend my congratulations to the project engineers, the family, the Department of Radiology, the management of usage, and especially the project committee chaired by Professor Ahmed Adio, the CMD of the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, where Professor Lagundoye held the highest academic and professional ranks of provost and CMD in the 1980s. I also congratulate all stakeholders, including mentees and donors, for their vision, dedication, and perseverance in bringing this project to life. The SB Lagundoye Museum and Library strengthens our collective commitments to institutional excellence, ensuring that future generations are reminded of the importance of integrity, mentorship, and dedication. Today, we do not only celebrate a facility, we celebrate a legacy, fire, and shape the future of radiology practice in Nigeria and beyond. May this center serve as a beacon for all who pass through its doors, affirming that excellence is a choice that transcends time. I'm happy to be part of this celebration with the family well represented here by Mama and Professor Olawale Lagundoye, a renowned psychiatrist in Nigeria and the UK, and by many others from diverse walks of life. We celebrate your patriarch and express our thanks and gratitude to all Lagundoyes, home and abroad. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much, sir. I'd like to recognize the Nigerian Medical Association Oyo State Chapter Chairman, Dr. Happy Adedapo. You're welcome, sir. And a very senior and surgeon retired, Professor and Dr. Mrs. Adekunle. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome, ma. Next on the agenda is the project overview, which should be given by the chair of the SBL Museum Project, Professor Ahijo, who is unavoidably absent on his way, and Professor Adeyinka will give his remarks. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Distinguished special guests,
guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me stand on the existing protocol. I stand here before you this morning just to fill in the gap for the chairman for the SBL Museum Project Committee, Professor Ahmed Ahijo, who is on his way. He came in from Maiduguri yesterday and is on his way, held up by traffic on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Again, let me, on behalf of the committee, welcome every one of you to this occasion, a history of the SBL Museum will be given to you to see what we have done and how far we have gone and we have reached to today. The SBL Honors Project Committee for the establishment of the SB Lagundoye Museum and Library was inaugurated in January 2025 by Professor Godwin Ogbole, head of radiology at that time at the UCH Ibadan, following a resolution by the department to have this SBL Museum project. The committee members were nominated for regional representation and their proximity to SBL during his lifetime, including trainees, departmental representative, and his son to represent the family. That is Dr. Wale Lagundoye. They were united by a shared commitment to preserving his legacy as the doyen and first professor of radiology in Nigeria. The initiative was conceived as a permanent institutional resource dedicated to education, historical preservation, and professional inspiration for future radiologists and medical professionals. The inaugural meeting held on 9th January 2025 formally launched the committee's work. Professor Godwin Ogbole served as facilitator. Professor Ahmed Aijo was then unanimously nominated as the committee chairman. The committee reviewed and adopted the proposal to establish the museum and library and resolved to transform Professor Lagundoye's former office, which you will see later, to the adjoining space within the Department of Radiology, University College Hospital, Ibadan, into a modern museum and digital radiology library. The committee adopted a structured operational framework, meeting twice monthly on Sunday evenings at 8 p.m., with all meetings held virtually via Zoom to ensure broad participation. Between January 2025 and January 2026, 24 foreseen institutional and logistic cannot be held. Meetings held virtually via Zoom to ensure broad participation. Now, what is the project scope and the institutional engagement? To secure institutional legitimacy, the committee proactively engaged with UCH management and the University of Ibadan authorities. By February 2025, formal approval was obtained from the Chief Medical Director of UCH. The project was deliberately framed as the establishment of a museum and library rather than merely a space renovation, and it was aligned with the Department of Radiology and UCH academic mission. We needed funds, so we have to do a little bit of fundraising and financial governance. A 6-stream fundraising strategy was developed, initially targeting 30 million naira, with subsequent upward revision to 50 million to accommodate expanded infrastructure needs, including alternative power supply and digital and internal facilities. Fundraising efforts spans individual donors, corporate and institutional partners, alumni and mentees, social media advocacy, and public-private sector engagement. To ensure transparency and accountability, a dedicated project account the SBL Lagundoye Museum Library Project account with Fidelity Bank was opened. The account was jointly managed by Professor Godwin Ogboli, Professor Ahmed Aijo, and Dr. Wale Lagundoye, all of whom was signatory. Project execution. The committee initially targeted of completing and commissioning the project by October 2025 to coincide with SBL's birthday could not be realized due to funding constraints. A new date of January 2026 was then set as a possible deadline, coinciding with the birthday of his widow. By June 2025, contractors had been selected through a competitive process and a quantity surveyor had been engaged. Project implementation was structured into 3 phases. The first phase, covering structural work such as flooring, ceiling, partitions, electrical installation, doors, and wall finishings, was completed by August 2025. The second phase, involving display installations, shelving, signage, and the installation of a commemorative bust, was substantially completed by November 2025. The third phase, covering electronics, alternative power supply, computers, internet connectivity, and furniture, remains ongoing and is being implemented progressively as funds permit. Throughout the execution, the committee maintained strict cost control, financial transparency, regular progress, and reporting to stakeholders. Today, the commissioning has come, but there was a lot of planning that went into the commissioning and we faced some challenges. By December 2025, the committee had transitioned into a local organizing committee and invited the current head of radiology, Professor Atinuke Agunloye, to oversee commissioning activities. Planning centered on protocol coordination, hybrid event delivery, program design, media engagement, logistics, security, and the establishment of a wall of recognition to acknowledge donors. You will see all this as you inspect and go on tour throughout the project. Project delivery was affected by funding constraints and unreliable power supply and periods of industrial action at the hospital, which disrupted the site's access and timeless. In addition, all committee members served in a voluntary capacity while balancing demanding professional responsibilities. Despite these challenges, steady progress was achieved through phased execution, adaptive planning, and sustained collaboration. The SBA Lagundoye Hall of Fame Radiology Award, though widely supported, remains under development, pending further stakeholders' engagement, governance finalization, and funding alignment. Now, legacy and the significance. Through sustained commitment, collegial leadership, and professional dedication, the project committee successfully delivered a permanent institutional asset that preserves the history of radiology in Nigeria and honors the life and work of Professor S.B. Lagundoye. The S.B. Lagundoye Museum and Library stands as a symbol of collective memory, academic excellence, and enduring professional gratitude, and will continue to inspire future generations. Thank you, everybody, for listening. You are also again welcome to the SBL Museum Project Committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, shall we give him another round of applause? I'd like to call on Professor Godwin Ogbole, who is online, and he will tell us about the life and times of Prof. S.B. Lagundoye. Professor Ogbole, are you online? Are you ready?
I'm ready. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
You can see my screen.
Please go ahead. Yes, we can. Go
Oh,
ahead.
beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Adeyinka. Thank you so much, Dr. Adeniji Shofolue, for that brief introduction. As the chairman said, Mr. Chairman, sir, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan, I would like to also lean or stand on the existing protocols to buy time. Thank you very much, sir. I want to say that it is an immense honor to celebrate the life and legacy of Professor Suleiman Botsende Lagundoye. Most of us knew him as Baba or SBL, a name that evoked a lifetime of quiet courage and scholarship, and a generosity that changed careers and shaped the character of many of us. He has passed from us, yet his influence still fills the halls and our hearts. Let me begin with a small and very personal confession. More than 2 decades ago, I knocked on his door, seeking a residency post. He turned me away. That rejection could have been the end. But providence and the weight of professional recognition or recommendation had other plans. Emeritus Professor Ladipo Akinkugbe and Professor Sholanke of surgery interceded with their voices and persuaded him. He then rescinded his decision, and in that gesture, I learned 2 things. That a well-built reputation carries a lot of weight. And the second is that second chances can define a life. Once welcome into his orbit, I discovered a man of surprising contrasts. He was one who was always very rigorous and yet playful. He was frugal and lavish, and that helped him with his memory, which became like that of an elephant. And that was clear to everybody because Professor Lagundoye could remember names, he could remember dates, places across decades as if they were portraits on the wall. I remember Professor Lagundoye in his 70s was a lover of computers. He learned how to use things. I then at that time was very green with understanding how to use PowerPoint. But even with that, because of my association with him and with the little I knew, I became his personal assistant. He insisted on doing the work, even himself. Even the little I knew, he would say, show me, let me do it myself. And you could like very good dexterity with a keyboard. He was exceptional because he learned how to type, and that he did very well. And he typed all his letters, typed all his chapters, and typed all the books that he wrote from cover to cover. Sometimes when I show him something, he said, look, no, let me try it, and from that, I learned to work with him in his lectures and present, package his lectures and all that. And that in that process, I was not just learning, I learned a craft. I learned to what? Also imbibe his spirit. We worked on his autobiography for months, and that transformed into his autobiography. And The Son of Two Mothers became a reality and a bestseller in our community of doctors, and I'm sure most people must have read it or have seen the book. And in that, he showed us that, that the patient was more important, and that it was better than just, acquiring titles or maybe delivering things on a podium. He was a man that had a heart. And at his 80th birthday, we launched The Son of Two Mothers. At heart, he was a clinician. He taught us that radiology was a conversation. He taught us that when we look at patients or look at images, that we are looking at not just machines, but we're having a conversation with the human body. One that must be led by kindness, curiosity, and exactitude. He set reporting standards and insisted on rigorous record keeping and built training programs and remained the backbone of radiology in Nigeria. Many of us here carry the mark of his methods and his teaching in one form or the other. He was a simple professor. He was a simple man. Professor Lagundoye was undemonstratively detribalized in outlook and very religious in practice. Yet beneath that simplicity was a fierce moral depth. He treated every trainee with dignity, every patient with compassion. When we called on for donations to create a lasting memorial, I could tell you that the response was enormous. The response was massive, all from far and near, old and young. This is a testament not only to his titles, but also to show that he touched lives. To me, he became a second father. A second father, I must say, and once I felt like a rejected stone, but somehow he made me a cornerstone. That transformation is perhaps the best measure of his legacy. He did not just merely impart knowledge, he nurtured people. Professor Lagundoye, as we remember him today, let us carry forward that learning, that love for learning, that his discipline, his humility. Let us be eager students, and show kindness. And now, with gratitude and affection, I would like to invite you to join me in watching a short documentary that traces his life from laughter to labors, from lectures to late night edits, and that taught us that the patient at the bedside was more important than going on the global stage. Professor Lagundoye once said that the best lectures are those that remind people of how to be human. May his life continue to teach us that lesson. I invite you now to watch this video with me. Please, let's show the video documentary.
Every nation has pioneers,
Thank you.
trailblazers, visionaries, those who arrive before the road is paved and before the map is drawn. In the history of radiology in Nigeria, that pioneer was Professor Suleiman Bosende Lagundoye, a man who saw the future long before
The documentary should come on
film.
Let's have audio.
Lagundoye was born on a Sunday on the 15th of October 1933 at Iloro Quarters in Owo, Ondo State. His parents were Alhaji Chief Jibola Kadri Lagundoye and Princess Jolade Fatima Lagundoye Nei Owopoti.
We're having some technical challenges, I believe. Let's have the documentary.
His mother and his grandmother. He grew up in the time when opportunity was scarce, but ambition was not. He attended Christ Church. Mako School, Ibadan, between 1944 and 1946. NA Central School King's Barrack, Ibadan, 1947. And Government College, Ibadan, between 1948 and 1953, where he was a classmate of Africa's first Nobel laureate in literature, Wole Soyinka. He later attended the Nigerian College of Arts and Science and Technology in Ibadan from 1953 to July 1955, after which he was admitted to the University College Ibadan in 1955 and graduated in 1961 with an MB.BS. He was the first Nigerian to be awarded a Diploma in Radiology DMRD from the University of Edinburgh in October 1966. He also received an honorary award as Foundation Fellow, College of Radiologists, FMCR, in 1970. In 1980, he was awarded FWACS Fellow, West African College of Surgeons, an honorary award as Foundation Fellow. He was an honorary member of the International College of Surgeons, FICS 1989, and was admitted as a Fellow without examination by the Royal College of Radiologists, London, in November 1993. He learned early that excellence would be his passport not just to success, but to service. With discipline and unshakable belief in learning, Lagundoye pursued medicine at a time when very few Nigerians did, and radiology when fewer imagined careers beyond clinical practice. Medicine taught him how to heal. Radiology taught him how to see. At a time when radiology was still emerging globally and barely established in Nigeria, Lagundoye recognized its power. A radiologist was a doctor's doctor, a diagnostician behind the scenes and sometimes in the dark who solved the puzzle of disease. While others listened with stethoscopes, he listened with shadows and light. His training took him across the seas where he mastered a discipline that demanded physics, anatomy, patience, and precision. He learned the art and ignored comments like, "Where is your camel?" from teachers who believed Africans still lived on trees. While going abroad for knowledge acquisition was pertinent, returning home to Nigeria was always crucial once the foray was over. In Ibadan, Professor Lagundoye did something extraordinary. He didn't just practice radiology, he helped build it. The story of radiology in Nigeria began in 1953 when a modest X-ray unit was established within the Department of Medicine at Adeoyo Hospital under the leadership of Professor Alexander Brown. Pioneering radiologists including Sir Howard Middlemiss of the Bristol Royal Infirmary and Dr. J.B. King from the University of Edinburgh were invited to help establish the foundations of this transformative field. In January 1957, Dr. W. Peter Cockshott joined the University College Ibadan as the first lecturer in radiology and honorary consultant radiologist at the University College Hospital Ibadan. He spearheaded the migration of the X-ray department from Adeoyo Hospital to the newly built UCH in May 1957, a move that marked the beginning of a remarkable journey. Over the next decade, the department expanded rapidly, adding outpatient facilities and specialized rooms bolstered by significant donation. In 1961 and 1980, infrastructural growth continued with the expansion of the Central X-ray Department, the introduction of advanced equipment including Philips angiographic and fluoroscopy units, and the eventual development of computerized tomography in 1987. In 2005, the department proudly commissioned its MRI unit, which was commissioned by President Olusegun Obasanjo, marking a significant milestone in its transition to cross-sectional imaging, a leap in diagnostic capability. Amidst this rich history, Professor S.B. Lagundoye emerged as a towering figure in Nigerian radiology. Renowned for his dedication to teaching and mentoring from 1968 till 2000, Professor Lagundoye played a pivotal role in shaping generations of radiologists. At the turn of the millennium, more than 50% of Nigerian radiologists had benefited in some form or another from his teaching or mentoring. His innovative spirit led him to pioneer novel approaches in radiological education and clinical practice. His contributions in training, departmental design, and academic leadership have left an indelible mark on the field. Today, the Department of Radiology at UCH Ibadan stands as the mother department of radiology in Nigeria, having trained over half of the nation's radiologists and contributed to more than 1,000 research papers in the global imaging literature. The legacy of pioneers like Professor Lagundoye is integral to our identity as a center of excellence in medicine in Nigeria. His groundbreaking work not only advanced diagnostic imaging, but also set the stage for interventional innovations in neurological, cardiac, breast, and pediatric imaging. He became Nigeria's first professor of radiology, but titles were never the point. The real legacy was the people. He trained generations of radiologists, many of whom would go on to lead departments, colleges, and national institutions. He didn't raise students, he raised standards. Professor Lagundoye's most outstanding contribution to radiology education, especially in West Africa, is his initiation of the Faculty of Radiology of the Postgraduate Medical College in the early 70s. As a pioneer secretary of the faculty board and later chairman of the faculty, Professor Lagundoye shouldered the responsibility of addressing the initial problems faced by the younger faculty. It is largely to his credit that the Fellows by Examination emerged in May 1980. He also contributed immensely to the nurturing of the Faculty of Radiology of the West African College of Surgeons. It is no exaggeration that today a great proportion of practicing radiologists in West Africa were trained wholly or partly by him. He was a great teacher. He believed discipline and kindness were not opposites. He believed excellence was contagious. If your reading of a film was poor, you will say little, but you will never forget the look, and you would get the message. Learn and go back to do a better job. Yet beyond the lecture halls and reporting rooms was a man of warmth, humor, and a quiet authority. Away from the hospital, his life continued. In the midst of his traveling and acts of service, he got married to his childhood friend Adejoke and had children, a boy and a girl. His wife wasn't left behind in her career growth. She too developed a passion for radiography when she joined him in Edinburgh during his training between 1964 and 1966. Bosende and his wife were honored with chieftaincy titles of Anyigun Balogun, Bashigun of Ibadan land, and Ekarun Iyalode Fiwagboye of Ibadan land for their service to the nation and the community. Lagundoye wasn't just a professor, he was a leader. His acts of service took him beyond Ibadan. The encounters included difficult years in Maiduguri, where leadership meant steadiness under pressure. Later, a sabbatical in Saudi Arabia offered both professional stability and the spiritual fulfillment primarily through the sacred pilgrimages. Professor Lagundoye passed away in 2020, but his work did not end. Every radiologist trained in Nigeria today carries a trace of his influence in rigor, in ethics, and in pride. Today, we pause a giant, Professor S.B. Lagundoye, the doyen of radiology in Nigeria, a father, a teacher, a mentor, and a quiet force who shaped generations of radiologists. His legacy lives on in the halls of our teaching hospitals, in the classrooms where he taught, and in many lives he touched with patience, skill, and humility. He would have been 92 today. Those who write their names on the hearts of students never truly leave us. Happy 92nd anniversary to a true icon of radiology. Your lessons, your kindness, and your quiet excellence remain with us always. You taught us that images matter, that training matters, that coming home matters. You did not just help Nigeria see disease, you helped Nigeria to see itself. Sleep on. A trailblazer, a master teacher, your legacy lives on.
Today, we have indeed paused to remember a legend. He will be 92 today. Can we please stand up for 1 minute to observe a 1 minute silence? May his great and wonderful soul continue to rest in peace. Happy birthday to you, sir. Permit me. No, sir, it's his birthday today too. Permit me to welcome the chairman of the SB Lagundoye Museum and Library Project, the chief medical director of the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, Professor Ahmed Ahijo. You're welcome, sir. I had a conversation about 1.5 hours ago that you were on your way on the express. Thank you, and it's great you survived that our express road. Would now like to call on the special guest of honor, Mrs. Silifat Adejoke Lagundoye, to please give her address. Auntie, should I bring the microphone to you, ma? She coming to? Okay. There's no.
Alhamdulillah, 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 Rabbil Alameen. I bless the day I met my husband, SBL. Sorry, I didn't observe all the protocols. I hope you don't mind for an old woman. Yeah, I don't know what to say, but to thank the Association of Radiologists and the organizer of this occasion for doing this to my husband, my friend, my brother, my everything. We lived in the same area when we were young. I won't say what I used to call him. But eventually we met. I had interest in radiography and he wanted to do radiology. So he said, don't worry. So we went to UK together, trained in the same department. But we've already had our first son, Dr. Lagundoye then. And we got on very well. I don't know what to do. He's a quiet, what should I say? Good father to his children and good husband to me. To his family, he was all in all. He was the first son of 48 children. And he trained almost, well, don't let me say almost. There were 7 wives. And he took from each wife, trained just to help, the children, the family. Well, when we came back to Nigeria, I was here for a year, but there was this husband and wife working in the same department. They didn't want to take me. So I moved to Western region then. But all along, we thank God for his life. Radiology is his second home. There is children. I remember when the Maiduguri doctors wanted to start. He went to Maiduguri and sent all the doctors to me in Ibadan. And we had to accommodate them, rent a place, and they didn't know how to eat amaloe or anything. I think Aijo was one of the first set, and Tahil, so many of them. And so, we accommodated them, and that's how he became the father of them in Maiduguri. In fact, they did something like this for him in Maiduguri years ago, in his name too. SB and radiology cannot, I don't know whether sleep or part. If he's sleeping like this, he thinks of radiology. But that's his own nature anyway. He's so kind, accommodating, and friendly. Don't let me say, but I cannot say this is one time we quarrel or anything. He was like a brother to me. He sees me like his younger sister. And even the children, he loves his children so much that we had 4, not 2. 3 boys and a girl. My first 2 are doctors. They trained in UI. the other one did chemistry, and the last one did agri-economics. And they are all married and doing well in their various positions. I'm moved, so I don't want to talk much. I should say thank you to everybody for coming here to grace this occasion. Although I miss him very much, because at times in the house I always say, "Where are you, Daddy?" There's so many things that I have to be doing on my own. I never used to do it before. But I thank God for the children I have. They are all like their father. So I want to say thank you to everybody for coming, for gracing this occasion, and to the organizers, and to my husband's children. Nze, Akao, so many of them, so many. Aijo, um, all those in my Duguris, you can't believe they still communicate with me up to now and send me some pocket money just because of what SB has done for them. So help me give them a clap, And I thank you people at UC2, everybody, my friends that are there, and Professor Ogumala for coming with his wife. And there's SB's girlfriend here, Shadi Adekunle. We were classmates in Ede, preschool Ede. They're so Shadi Adekunle, are you there? Maybe Dr. Adekunle, the GOP, okay, Professor Adekunle's wife. So please enjoy yourself for the rest of the week. Thank you very much.
Our clap is not loud enough. We'll just take a short, brief comment from the chairman of the SBL project, Professor Aijo, if you don't mind. Want to hear your voice. Maybe I'll bring the microphone to you, sir.
The Vice Chancellor, University of Ibadan, the representative of the Chief Medical Director, University College Hospital, Ibadan, the Provost of the College of Medicine, our Mama, and the members of our father and grandfather Lagundoye's family. For me, I won't be wrong if I say I'm part and parcel of the family. My teachers that are here, the friends of Professor S.B. Lagundoye, staff of the University of Ibadan, and staff of University College Hospital, Ibadan, well-wishers of Professor S.B. Lagundoye. My name is Professor Ahmed Ahijo, the Chief Medical Director, University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital. I am direct beneficiary of Professor S.B. Lagundoye. In fact, this morning, when I left Lagos around 8:30 to come to Ibadan for this program, I recalled one thing. When we were training here in Ibadan, we used to escort him to Lagos or wherever he's traveling in his car. I'm one of those that will accompany him to go to programs for the National College, West African College, and other. And one thing that he will do for us when we're going there, we'll stop at the Total Garden and buy bread and coke. There is a favorite joint where we buy his bread. So we stop and buy big loaves of bread and coke. That's what we eat. And I decided this morning I will have a bottle of Coke and a loaf of bread just to recall the old memories. It's very emotional. It's like yesterday, walking through this department, sitting down at the demonstration room, 4 o'clock. If you don't come, he will go around looking for you. There is no way. He must give those interpretation, reporting session for those films that are difficult. He always carries them. If you don't keep for them, keep for him, he will always bring some for teaching. I think it's a good one for us. And nobody will say or doubt the fact that without Baba, there is no radiology in West Africa. No Baba, no radiology. Because the radiology prior to him was just service provision that is just small, no training component. He is the one that dedicated his entire life to the academic and professional human resource and capacity development in radiology and radiography. Because he started the School of Radiography here. And he is also part and parcel, the brain behind the Yaba one. And everything regarding radiology were his offsprings. For us in Maiduguri, he is the first black provost of the College of Medicine. After the white people have gone, he is the first person that took over as a Nigerian. Harold Scarborough and George Eddington were the first provosts. And at that time, the provost of the College of Medicine is the CMD. So by extension, Professor S.B. Lagundoye is the first provost and chief medical director of the College of Medicine, University of Maiduguri, and University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital. I was asked by the Vice Chancellor also to represent him, and also the Provost of the College of Medicine. And the Vice Chancellor, together with the Provost, they asked me before I proceed to present a posthumous award to Professor S.B. Lagundoye for the services that he has done to University of Maiduguri and College of Medicine. I think I should present it to Mama. I stand to represent the College of Medicine, University of Maiduguri, and to recognize the contribution of Professor S.B. Lagundoye to the development of the College of Medicine, University of Maiduguri as a pioneer Nigerian provost, and also services that he has rendered for the development of the Department of Radiology, University of Maiduguri. I present this posthumous award to you, ma'am. Thank you. As Mama mentioned, as Mama mentioned, the house is our house. We stayed in that house. She cooked for us all the time. We sit down and eat as our own house. Nobody will underestimate the development he made in radiology. And I also have to commend Professor Okbole. This whole program started when he was the head of department. We must commend Professor Okbole for the doggedness. He has done very well. I know I can't count the number of times in a day. Sometimes he phoned me 20 times. And he's the type of people that really actualize a dream. Professor Adeyinka, somewhere hiding my chairman, the head of radiology and the whole of radiology family, those that contributed, we really appreciate the contribution. Professor Inze, Akao, and everybody that in the radiology family, we really thank you for coming together. Thank you, and happy birthday, mommy. Happy birthday once again. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chancellor. Thank you, and thank you, everybody. I appreciate.
Thank you very much, sir. We're pressed for time, but we have to take goodwill messages. So we're going to do 1 minute each, if you don't mind. So we'll call on Dr. Wale Lagundoye, who's going to give us a goodwill message from the family. Who is timing this fluoroscopy?
Yeah. Good morning, Bismillah. Distinguished guest, the chair, the VC, standing on existing protocols. Dr. Ahijo, chairman of the organizing committee, distinguished radiologist, alumni of the University of Ibadan, an alumni of the University of Maiduguri. It's a great honor and pleasure to be standing here today to honor my late father, Professor S.B. Lagundoye. Had a speech planned, but I thought I will just try and exceed that. For us, today marks a significant milestone in the history of radiology in Nigeria, the academic community of the University of Ibadan, and the extended Lagundoye family. On the behalf of the Lagundoye family, I thank you all for your contributions, your love, your devotion, and remembrance of my late father. Professor Obole in San Francisco, I especially give you thanks for all the hard work and the energy that you put into actualizing this project. Late father arrived in Ibadan on the 11th of October 1943 and spent the rest of his life there. He was, I'd say, part of the pioneer students of the University College Ibadan, and in his history, he notes about attending the introductory lecture in the clinical medicine on the 23rd of September 1957 in this great building when UCH was just formed. In his autobiography launched at his 80th birthday, he described coming to Ibadan as a blessing for him. I think my mom, his wife, great love of his wife and the children, a great testimony. And the extended family of radiologists and physicians worldwide. I have to say, even though we talk about radiology, I think when you consider those that he has encountered across part, particularly the Maiduguri crowd probably shows it. It goes well beyond radiology. I think it extends well beyond radiology, and I'll say the wider university community. And it makes me recall in 1989, when my father was going to Saudi. I was in Port Harcourt at that time, and he wrote me a letter. I found a copy of the letter in one of his Qurans when looking through things, and wrote me a letter about coming home because he wanted to go to Saudi and that he was going to come back, and he wanted me to be at home while he was away. The interesting thing about Saudi is that he was supposed to be there for 12 months, but he only spent 10 months there. And he would always recall to me that after 2 months, at the beginning of 2 months, at the end of 2 months, when he was handed his salary for the month, that it covered his entire mortgage, outstanding mortgage, which was the main reason why he had to go to Saudi at the time, and that he was ready to come back. But he had to fulfill that obligation of coming back. Uh, I think he was part of the original Japa syndrome, but he Japadad. That's a way of putting it lightly. He was a man that was passionate about life, and the four quadrants of his passion were his faith, Islam, his professional calling, radiology, his family, that's nuclear and extended. And when I say extended, it is really extended. There's nowhere in the world that I go, and once I mention my name, they say, "Ah, are you Baba's son?" And that opened all sorts of doors. Professor Komolafe from the who was also one of his students and who was on one of those slides, called and sent generous contributions. I'd like to acknowledge it is here. I'll say his faith was at the core of his service, but he enjoyed that, and he imbued that in all aspects of his life. This project seeks to capture the essence of SPL's life. I take permission in calling him SPL, his life's works, and aims to continue to encourage future generations on the pathway of service and pursuit of knowledge and its application in our communities. I pray that Almighty Allah supports this noble quest in continuing to inspire future generations to this vision. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sal. Shall we give him another round of applause? We're pressed for time, so I'll kindly ask that your goodwill messages be 1 minute or less. I'd like to call on the medical librarian, Latunde Odeku Medical Library, Dr. Grace Ajumo. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. You'll be wondering, why is a librarian given opportunity to give a goodwill message? She's not a radiologist. The answer is simple. Baba Lagundoye, like we fondly call him then, was once the chairman of the library committee. And he did something very remarkable. Baba ensured, he asked us, what problem do you have? We say we have no electricity. Electricity was off and on. And he said, no problem. We didn't know what Baba did. But we had electricity constantly to the point that the library was called Aso Rock. Yes, Aso Rock. Even when Baba left, we still had electricity. And at some point, everything stopped. When he retired, he visited us. And we told him that, electricity is no longer as stable as it was when you were here. He said, no problem. It was restored. So I was very happy when the HOD came to me and said, we are going to have to commission a museum and a library. I said, yes. Baba sowed a seed many years back. And now his collections are current and future generations of students and radiologists. We have access to this collection. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I'd like to call on
We'll have to fast forward a little bit because the Vice Chancellor has another engagement. So we're going to move to the unveiling of the library and museum. May I call on the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academics, Professor Lapiga, please. And the HOD. We're still coming back here. Sorry? Everybody else, please be seated. be taken to the library. We just want to go through this. Yes, you will see what is going on there, and we can visit thereafter. Auntie, please join us. Go ahead, just join us. Yes, so just people on the high table, who are on the high table, please can you please join us, please? And those on the front seats, you watch, the rest of you will watch what is going on. Apologies, the vice chancellor has to catch another function.
Shall we?
Sir, vice chancellor, sir, be in front.
Mommy. Mommy.
We will stop here for a while, sir, and face this direction. Now, you will do one other exercise, sir. Here, you are going to help us to unveil the bust of Professor, the late Professor SDL Lagundoye. So please go ahead and do that. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. If you look around, just turn around, this particular section represents the honors and awards. On your left, you will see the honors and awards of Baba. On your left, the God of Master on the other side. And directly in front of you, it's the wall of fame of those who have donated towards this great project. I will have to check here. No complaint. Engraved as we get more and more donations. Also on the wall are the museum of equipment, rhetorical equipment of the past. They are important equipment works. If you turn to your back, you will see the father of X-ray, Conrad Goenker in 1895 or 1895. Discovered X-ray radiology. And that's it. Also here is the old city generation, the first generation of city. But here is our own first city in 1987. And this is what it looks like. And Baba was the head of department at that time. Right. And of course, we then go ahead, and in 2005, we had an MRI, which was a Siemens, and in 2013, we have another MRI, which was a mind-brain MRI. So we can move a little bit forward, sir. If you move a little bit forward. Mama, this is the summary of the life and times of Baba. You will see what is that when he was born, 1933, and when he joined the department in 1967 as lecturer one in the Department of Radiology, an honorary consultant. And then as we go on and on, in 1976, he pioneered the National Postgraduate Medical College. And these are the first class, the first class, and the first set, right? And you can see, this is Professor Mrs. Omuchende, that's Professor Komolafe, Dr. Taiwo, and Dr. Dines. All they are the first pioneer of that state that did National Postgraduate Medical College exams in radiology. So Baba was the pioneer teacher, mentor, renowned scholar, lifelong learner, and a respected doing in Nigerian radiology. So we move a little bit further, and this tells us about why the museum. This tells us about his legacy and his memorial. Right? So we'll not spend too much time here, but this was his old office. You can see the books and all, that's what the office. This space here we are standing was the office space of his office. And we have transformed that into this museum, which you are going to see today. So let us go ahead, and then we go straight into the museum. Paparazzi, if you don't mind. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mama, this is the lounge. This is the museum library lounge, which visitors will come in first and for where actually you want to visit. So this is the lounge. So we move to the next room. This one. All right. The museum library. The museum library, as you can see, is filled. Hello, okay. The museum library, as you can see, is filled with books, radiological books, old and new. But let me say that it's going to be an electronic library. Once we get our internet fixed, we are going to link it with, we're going to have different search engines, Inari, PubMed, and so that residents can come in, spend some time here, and do their search. As I said, it's going to be an educational resource center for people here and also people on other places. They can This is an anniversary, right? So you can see all the books that you are looking for in in Nigeria, in Africa, in everywhere, you will find it there because Baba has a lot of collection stored in it. We cannot even fill the whole place with those collections. We still have some in store for us, which we will bring out as we go on. Some of us have dissertations that we did. We have a package of dissertation put somewhere. We have not been able to put it here. So now let's now leave the library and then go to the museum itself. Now, this is the museum. Please come in and feel it. Sir, before you enter fully, where's Mama? Let Mama come in. Yes. This is the museum, and the first thing you will see is Baba Lagundoye's gown and his cap. This is the National Postgraduate Medical College Nigeria. Now, don't mind that the cap is brown and fading color. It's because of years of so many years to come. Now, I want to take you through this aspect. Let's go through this corridor, then go around. First, if you can see Baba's certificate. Baba's certificate from Royal Edinburgh University College, Ibadan. Then honorary, yes, the government college, there is the National Postgraduate College, there is West Africa. This is Baba's certificate. Now, here, interestingly, we have some radiological museum equipment here. Our manual processor, old one before we come to digital. This is when we were going to the dark room. There's no more dark room now. So this was there. And this is Baba's reading lamp. This yellow one is Baba's reading lamp. And we have, of course, radiation safety light. Now, this was one of Baba's collection, which we just found. I think he likes collecting old things. It contains a TV and radio. This was a black and white TV and radio combined together. We never see it anywhere. So we brought it out and said we should show that. Now, this is Baba's personal life. This in this glass is Baba's personal life. If you start from here, you can see the Quran. You can see Nasrat and Cunningham. Then there was a letter written to him from WHO, taking his support in terms of training in Nigeria and in Africa. It was written to, she was searching him to give them ideas on how to start training of radiology in Nigeria and in Africa. Such with his old calculator, government collecting, but he has given old money. He has given old money. So there's one old money here. This is the scanner, a scanner that was there in the 70s when you want to scan things and all that. And this particular blood pressure cuff, this is what he used, and I think it's one of the blood pressure cuff he used for me when I was entering the university. My dad sent me to him that go and do your medical thing, and he took my blood pressure. I will not be surprised that it should be one of them. So if you listen to Baba's gold printer, he carries it everywhere. To Lagos, everywhere he carries it along with his computer. It has gold printer. Yes. And it belongs to the first place of the monitor we have at the desktop. If you return to the back, right, you will see that Baba draws games. He plays chess, he plays iron. We smuggled this from his old study room. We brought it here. He is not like online. So, and Baba likes traveling. Anywhere he goes, it's binoculars with him. And it's typewriter. Wow. You dare not touch this typewriter except it. Right? This is what he did before the computers. And it's very good with typing and very still. Yes, we cleaned it up and we're able to bring it there. You can see different types of camera, different gauges and all. Yeah. Most expensive. Yeah. And that was his laptop. You can see that laptop. We convinced him to change his laptop. Baba refused. And I think it's Wale that the family that did something to get a new laptop. But he never left it. Even when he got the new one, he never left. He kept at it. And of course, that's Baba's staff of office when he was made a chief. If you look at the wall here, again, this is government college. Fine boy, government college, fine boy. No wonder he was able to capture, Mama. Oh, that's my graduation. Nice to meet you. Right. And this is the family, cultural and family gatherings Baba had and interaction. And I think that is Wale there when he graduated as a doctor, MBBS. You can see him sitting between Mama there and Baba. Right. Again, his last days in 1948, the first set of clinical students that did MBBS on ground. No, before then they were sending them to UK. So there was, even though they were doing MBBS on ground, they were still getting certificates. Yes, UK has certificates. So that was the first set. There they are. But in 2001, this set in 1948, in 2001, they congregated again and took this picture as one of their classmates' 80th, 70th birthday. You can see the transformation. I think they're still looking the same. That is Mama and that is Baba when he was working at General Hospital Oyo before he left for Edinburgh. He was working as a medical officer and he delivered those twins by Fiat. Okay. And again, his last day in GCI. Yes. MBBS, this is his class in the committee of this Obasanjo presidential project in on the valley. And you can see Professor Kikube there. Yes, and so that's it. That area. And of course, again, these are the academic journey of Baba, which you have read. And that is Professor Obishesan, the first, yes, the first pioneer radiologist trainee, right? They were also sent to UK. They were sent to Bristol. Yeah, Bristol. They were called Bristol. The other Dr. Kumanjo, they actually went to Edinburgh or Glasgow. I can't remember. Yeah. So those are the ones. And that's this book of Sons of Two Mothers. Okay, so that is the grandmother. Grandmother. This is the grandmother, Yababa. And that is the mother. So you have opportunity and privilege for two breasts. Please. Baba, when I joined the department in 85, so this was the projectors were being used like lights. And so it's so much of that you can take it around to my people, to everyone. To teach people to live. You see that everybody knows who prepare these slices. Yes. You take the picture of this camera and then we process it locally. Yes. Thank you, Provost, Deputy Provost. Thank you very much. Mama, thank you so much. I'm sure you probably will come again to have another look. And again and again, we'll be ready to see you. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you very much. No time is not in your favor. When you guys do this, to end this program.
Only portrait reviewer. Thanks,
Okay. Wow.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Prof. Now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to take shots on this.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Can we please settle down?
Okay, okay, leave. Okay, okay. Would like to continue the program with goodwill messages. And I'd like to call on Professor Nze, the representative of the SBL mentees. Prof, you're welcome, sir. She's over to you. They want people. I think. Okay. So we'd like to recognize a few of former Oyo M1 President Dr. Adeyemi Oyedamola. You're welcome, ma. Professor Tokwe Bello, consultant radiologist from Edward Small Teaching Hospital, Banjul. You're welcome, sir. Professor Shoyebi, you're welcome, ma. Calling on Professor Nze to give his goodwill message on behalf of the representative of SBL mentees. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you. The day is far gone, so I will try to be as brief as possible. The chairman of this occasion and DVC, University of Ibadan, the chief medical director or representative, the special guest of honor. I'm standing here to represent the mentees, and I have a moral obligation to be here today, and I'll tell you that it was not easy. During my journey this morning, I left Ilorin this morning for Ibadan. Okay, as I was on the outskirts of Ibadan, I had a security scare on the radio on this route, but I was not deterred. I was sharing my experience with Dr. Akonwo. I pressed ahead with this journey because I felt I had to be at this occasion. When I started training here in the early 80s, my first encounter with Professor Lagundoye struck me because he was such an approachable, humble, patient teacher. And his dedication to duty was exemplary. Some of the pressures that took some of his colleagues away from work, I won't go into more details. It didn't really matter to him. He used to be with us in the department till 6 p.m. every day. 6 p.m. He made sure he finished his work and then spent another 2 hours teaching us. And beyond that, for me as an individual, his mentorship was very deep. He supervised my dissertation patiently. And then when the opportunity came for 1 year abroad, because in those days, in the 80s, we had 1 year abroad and the government paid. He recommended me to his alma mater, to Professor Best and Dr. Philip at the Royal Infirmary of Edinburgh to do my 1 year attachment. And beyond that, when I became a consultant, eventually rose along the ladder. In 2011, Dr. Akonwo is here. He's here. He was the president of the Association of Radiologists of Nigeria. They said we needed to document 50 years of our history of radiology. That was 1962 to 2012. In 1962, I was in primary school. So how would I document history of radiology? So I ran to Professor SBM. I said, this is my challenge. My challenge, they said I should document 50 years history of radiology in West Africa. So he came in and I said there was no problem, that he would take the first 25 years. And I would he just made everything very simple for me. And that was what happened. There's a book, blue cover book there. And if you read it, you know he took the first 25 years and told me to write the subsequent 25 years. So what is left for me is actually to thank the committee, both the visionary, the person who originated this idea, Professor Bole, when they were head of the department, and the committee members, Professor Hijo was the chairman, other committee members, for this. It's an enduring legacy that for generations to come, they know that Professor Lagundoye made us feel the impact of training in this department. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Faculty of Radiology, National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. Is there somebody to give us a goodwill message? None. Okay. Yeah, okay.
I think I just don't have to talk much. I'm the chairman of the Faculty of Radiology National Postgraduate. He is the founder. So everything about the National College is all about him. And we thank him. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Faculty of Radiology, West African College of Surgeons. Dr. Akonwo.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. All protocols are duly observed. The chairman of the Faculty of Radiology, West African College of Surgeons, has asked me to help her read the goodwill message. Before I do that, I want to say that I'm also standing here on behalf of myself and my family to honor our father. And I'm also standing here on behalf of the descendants of SPL in diaspora in diaspora in Abuja, about 33 of us who contributed to this project, and they send their goodwill to you. Thank you so much. Now let me read the goodwill message of the faculty of the College of Radiology. West African College of Surgeon, Faculty of Radiology. Professor S.B. Lagundoye is one of the founding fathers of radiology in Nigeria and West Africa sub-region. He and others set the stage for the training of future radiologists to serve the people of the sub-region. The West African College of Surgeon is a body responsible for the promotion, organization, and conduct of postgraduate education and training in surgery, related disciplines, specialties in West Africa through the composition of faculties. The Faculty of Radiology is one of the faculties and Professor Lagundoye is a foundation fellow of the Faculty of Radiology and works. He has been a fellow of the college since 1980. The faculty currently has over 800 radiologists and radiotherapists on its register for the West African sub-region. This is excellent. Professor Lagundoye was a committed member of the faculty where he diligently served the Faculty of Radiology as chief examiner for many years. He is remembered as a gentleman in his dealings and as a diligent examiner with a good sense of humor. We thank the Department of Radiology, UCH, for this recognition and for commissioning this museum library in its perpetual honor and remembrance. This museum library project will be a veritable asset to future generations of radiologists in training and fellows, especially in this era of e-learning. The legacies of Professor SBL and our founding fathers of radiology lives on. Thank you very much. Signed, Professor Atinoke Agunloye. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Calling on the next, the representative of the Registrar Radiographers Registration Board of Nigeria, Mrs. Helen Ezema, Director Radiography UCH. Yes, she is. You're welcome, ma.
All protocols duly observed, but I'll recognize Mama Lagundoye. She's a very senior colleague. She's a radiographer. I stand to read the goodwill message from Professor Maxi Okeji, Registrar Radiographers Registration Board of Nigeria. It goes thus. It is with great honor and admiration that I extend my heartfelt congratulations on this occasion of the commissioning of the museum and library project in honor of Professor S.B. Lagundoye, the first professor of radiology in sub-Saharan Africa. His contributions left an indelible mark in the field of radiology, which impacted positively on the health outcomes of countless patients. Professor S.B. Lagundoye's illustrious career stands as a beacon of excellence, dedication, and scientific integrity. His pioneering research, unwavering commitment to education, and mentorship have shaped generations of radiologists and other health professionals. This museum library project not only preserves the rich history of his academic excellence, but also provides a dynamic space for ongoing learning, innovation, and the cultivation of critical thinking among students, residents, practitioners, and researchers. May this facility serve as a hub of knowledge, collaboration, and inspiration. May it foster curiosity, preserve the legacy of Professor Lagundoye's groundbreaking work, and empower radiologists to uphold the highest standards of practice, research, and compassionate patient care. On behalf of the Radiographers Registration Board of Nigeria, I extend warm congratulations to all who contributed to this extraordinary project. May its opening herald a new chapter of scholarly excellence and professional unity. Congratulations once more to the organizers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Before we go to the cutting of the cake, I'd like to crave your indulgence to take this goodwill message from His Royal Majesty Kabiyesi Oba Jacob Eson III. The Onijimo of Ijimo sends his goodwill message as thus. Professor S.B. Lagundoye was the epitome of selfless service. It is altogether fitting and proper that we remember his life and his good deeds. It is further important to note the core of Professor S.B. Lagundoye's life was an abiding love from and for Allah. We must do this precisely because without the steadying hands of Almighty Allah, many, many men lose focus and contentment. This is why today's event is extremely important because of the underlying message. The next agenda is the cutting of the cake.
HOD
And
Radiology, can you come and help us
calling
coordinate
on
this?
the special guest of honor,
First.
Mommy and her immediate family for the cutting of the cake.
Okay. Before that, I'd like to recognize the Deputy CMAX of University College Hospitals who are here. Professor Lagundoye, I think you are here. Can you please stand up for recognition if you are here? Professor Ibiemi, Dr. Oluwashola, you are all welcome. So Auntie want to cut the cake. It's your birthday today. We're going to sing happy birthday. We'll be glad if you could come in this direction. Professor Hijo, sir, you have to be here. The children, are they here? Please, can you come and join Mama to cut this cake?
DJ, can we have some music?
DJ, can we have some background music? Nobody's from Paris. Permit me to recognize Professor Ogumbi, a renowned pathologist. You are here, sir. We are welcome, sir. You are welcome, sir.
You're welcome.
We need a birthday song. Can we sing happy birthday to her, to Mama, please? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
So we're going to count
now
the cake. We'll say SBL. And as the L is pronounced,
and we'll cut the cake.
We cut the cake. Are we ready? We all shout SBL. And by the time L is pronounced, we'll cut the cake. And now we seize the cake and go and eat it in one corner. S B L. Can we close the trap for Mama? Cameras, men, I hope you took the pictures. Okay. So let's divide the cake. What's the next thing now? What of time? With this part.
We'd like to call on Professor Kofo Shoyebi to give us the vote of thanks. Professor. For votes of thanks, we'll take a couple of pictures right here after the vote of thanks has been taken. So please wait behind for the pictures. Thank you. Professor Shoyebi, you're welcome, ma, for the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, all. We've had quite a long day. But it's so very important to acknowledge and thank everyone who has made this effort to honor Baba. I have written down what I want to say because I have only 3 minutes and I don't want to leave anything out. Distinguished guests, members of the university and hospital management, respected elders, senior colleagues, members of the radiology community, the Lagundoye family, ladies and gentlemen. On this historic marking the commission of the SB Lagundoye Museum and Library, I rise with deep gratitude for one thing, the remembrance of the oath us as medical and dental personnel took at the completion of our training and onset of our practice, the Hippocratic Oath. If you look at that oath, the first statement is, honor those who have trained you and given you the art. I'm sure this didn't come to our mind when all of these were being planned, but I tell you this, it was have been ingrained in our minds. And seeing who Professor S.B. Lagundoye was, the tenacity and doggedness with which he decided to ingrain into this nation, into the radiologists of this nation, we know it is deserving to honor him as it's being done today. And the Bible tells us as well, honor your parents with your substance, that your days might be long. So we see the rewards coming from God Almighty himself, and your days will be good in this land of the living. So, to everyone who made contributions, to everyone who labored, to the committee members who I am sure at 8 p.m. on Sunday night, they'll go and sit down for yet another meeting because it became so regular. 8 p.m., they must sit and have 1, 2, 3 hours of deliberations. Thank God we're seeing it all here today. One of the things that really touched me most about the committee is setting up, planning this day. And it was not to be just any day. They considered the relationship Daddy SBL had with his wife, his heart throb, and thought she should be recognized in such a way that he would be dancing up there in heaven. So it was said, let us carry out this commissioning on her birthday. And that is why today we are having two celebrations, apart from the commissioning and apart from, is the birthday ceremony. Because Mama touched even every one of us. The chairman of the committee said it earlier, her cooking, amala and a good, ewedus. All of us, we actually didn't know why we went to SBL's house, whether to visit Mama out of love or it was the amala and ewedu, but she was consistent with it. And we made sure whenever we were hungry, she made sure we were fed. Thank you very much, Ma. So this day, Atubo Yeima, in Jesus' name. So I want to the university and hospital management for giving us the permission to use the space and so making it official. To everyone, even if today was the first time you came in here, all the monies, I was asked to actually mention some names who kept asking us, do you want more? One of them is Dr. Akonwo here, who gathered so much money for this project, rallied around all his department staff. Dr. Fatade, Professor Ngbo, Professor Komolafe, and then some non-radiologists as well. A cardiologist, Professor Oga, Professor Shitu, Professor Malomo, and Professor Tokwe Alonge. They said they deserve special mentioning for the way we didn't have to run after them. They ran after us to make sure everything went well. But I'll say to us, whatever penny, whatever kobo we had put in, whatever energy, anything at all is so appreciated. And remember, you have honored your parents and our days will be long. Amen. And we will live well, good, and plenteous in this land of the living. Thank you all for coming. Adele Bare, Arinokore, I wish us all journey mercies as we return to our. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you very much, Ma. So we're off to take the pictures. Calling on the family of Professor SBL to come first. Please, let's all remain seated. We'll call us forward. Family of SBL, please kindly come to the backdrop here for the photographs.
Please, let's all stay behind. We're all going to take pictures in different groups. Everybody here is going to take a picture. So please don't go yet. Everybody else is going to take a picture. So let's just be patient. So the first group will be the family of SBL and friends. After that will be
SBL family and friends. Please come over. Thank you.
After that will be UCH consultants, all UCH consultants that are present here. Then all other UCH staff that are present here. Then the LOC. Then radiologists from all over the world, wherever they are. So please, first of all, the SBL and friends, please.
Oh, I'm there.
SBL and friends. You will be just five. Where are the cameramen? Where are the pictures? So first group SBL and family and friends. After that, radiologists from all over the world, please stay get ready to take yours. Okay, consultants, Abi. Okay. Sorry. No, it's okay. Now, all consultants that are here, please, can you please come?
Come over to the
Please come over,
backdrop.
take pictures.
All consultants,
All
please.
consultants, please. Both old, new, and retired, please
All
come. All
consultants.
consultants to please join the family to take pictures. We must join. Let's join. No, this is all consultants first. All consultants first. Let's join.
All consultants.
All consultants, both retired, both new,
Retired, new, young.
old, new.
Look.
Consultants.
All categories, consultants,
Surgeons,
surgeons.
non-surgeons. Okay, let's do it into two parts. Two parts.
Yes,
Two parts.
2 batches.
The first group are radiologists, are consultants that cut people up. Okay. Okay, first group.
Should we stop here now?
So let's do two. One side here, one side there. Okay. Stay here. Take this side and take that side. Okay. They are facing that way. Don't cut anybody. No, you haven't taken also.
Yeah, I can't.
Sorry.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. I don't know what. The older professors. I don't know what that means.
Next batch, please. Still consultants. Consultants, next batch.
Next batch. Next batch. Next batch. Next batch of consultants. Next batch.
Next batch of consultants. Once you have taken your pictures, you can move to the museum and visit the museum. Okay. There will be a third batch. Let's give it some.
Thank you.
Third batch. There's a
Third batch. Third batch. Third batch. Okay. You can proceed to the museum.
No, third batch.
No fourth batch.
Third batch.
Okay. Fourth batch. Fourth batch.
Third batch.
The fourth batch.
Third batch.
Third batch. Third batch. Third batch. Third batch. I can see some people in all the 3 batches.
Third batch.
I'm telling you. Some people have been on all the 3 batches. Okay. Radiologists from all over the world, please. Because some of them are going back. Radiologists from all over the world, please. You are next. Okay. Now, can we have the radiologists from all over the world, both in Nigeria and outside? Please, can you join the family, please?
Radiologists, radiotherapists.
Radiotherapists, radiologists, radio oncologists, radio anything, radio gynecologists.
And medical physicists.
Radio anything. Anything radio. Radiotherapist, radio oncologist, radio gynecology, any radio things.
Including physicists.
Okay, including physicists. Radio psychiatrists, radio community health, or community medicine. LOC, get ready. LOC, get ready. You all did a good job. LOC, get ready. Thank you very much. LOC, where are you? HOD, where is your LOC?
LOC.
Committee, local organizing committee. Oh, okay, committee.
LOC.
Committee and LOC.
It's the same. We're taking a picture together. No. We're taking the pictures together. Join.
Please, after the ceremony, you can please take a tour of the museum. Can take a tour. Yes, sir. You have you taken? Oh, sorry. What will we call yourself? Elders. Elders. Okay. Local LOC. LOC.
Local LOC. Ah.
There's international LOC and there's local LOC. Come and join them. Yeah, well done. Thank you. This is international LOC. LOC. So can we close by taking the national thoughts? Can we close by taking the third stanza of the national anthem? Are we ready with that? Okay, local LOC, international LOC.
Everyone else.
Okay, well done.
No, we should do MC.
Yeah.
When
Yes.
All right. Which LOC is explain to it?
Local is the traditional local LOC. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, with HOD and MC alone. HOD and MC alone.
Friends, everyone, but everyone that has taken.
Then if you have not taken,
join for pictures.
Okay. If you are not in any of the groups, please come and take. If you didn't fall into any of the groups, please come and take a picture. You are here. Then after that, Department of Radiology staff. Okay. Yes. Hold on. Anybody? Department of Radiology staff. Department of Radiology staff. Department of Radiology staff. Department of Radiology. UCH. National anthem.
Are we not taking?
Serious. Oh yeah. If my sister, no, send it to me. I read it. I was so glad to see you. This is taking too long. What's happening here? Okay, MC and MC stress. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much, man. Yes, sir. Junior, okay. Take it. Look. Yes. We try. No. What stands out the national anthem? If anybody is still around, let's take that. Are you ready with that? Then please go in and conclude.
Please, you can take a tour of the SBL Museum now. It's open.